basically what we noticed is, well, why am I saying we? I'm just going to speak as if I'm speaking to you. So sod
Yes,
you, audience. Uh,
no one cares. You're not important now. We've done with you today.
yeah, yeah. So when you were when before you were, I think you were seeing failure in in the environment that we were working in because of
Yeah.
what you'd learned from school. Like in school, you're not taught, oh, that failure is bad. That's not something like teachers don't say failure is bad, but that's something you assume because of everything that's happened. If you fail, then these are the consequences. So that's information, specifying information you attune to, which would therefore lead to certain assumptions. And I think coming out of school, which is with everyone, as I mentioned off the recording, I think that's because teachers they don't create environments where students can fail as much because of, well, various restrictions in their own situation, whether that is tests or lesson restraints, resources, money, funding, blah blah blah. And because individuals learn to attune to affordances or the affordances that would suggest failure is bad, when they go into environments, failure is bad, they try and avoid it. So what I tried to do when we were talking is give you constrain the environment for you to make mistakes, to
Mm.
mess up, which is why I was like, for me, I was frustrated that you weren't being more in the conversation. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
we joked in about the script, me saying more.
But it was frustration. And I was frustrated that I wasn't saying more. I was also frustrated. It was like it was beginning to feel like this was another one of your channels. And I was just kind of a floating participant that just came in every so often. But now it's becoming the dynamic is changing because not just because I'm gaining expertise, but I'm also gaining expertise in failing, which is kind of cool. Because my first assumption before we started thinking about this was like, oh, I'm getting better at understanding ecological dynamics, so I can talk more. No, I'm getting better at messing it up and being okay with that, which is really interesting. And so since that happened, it's been like, okay, cool. So I can go further with the content on the channel so that now you're like, here, go play. And I'm like, I want to go play because I can then go back through some of the conversations we've had and be like, oh, this is really interesting. And one of the I've already got a plan for a few of them as well. Of like, and also as I was watching our previous conversation, one of the ones in particular on that episode, I can actually see a change. And it was happening through that episode with
Scott?
Scott. It was like through that episode with Scott, I could see myself starting being very quiet and stepping back, and then just suddenly going, nah. And then I started talking out loud and thinking out loud. And then the moment I did that, there was that really good clip that we're going to use where I actually sound like an ecological, like,
Psychologist.
psychologist, where I just sound like an ecological psychologist. And I'm like, oh, I sound pretty smart. That's cool. And I was just thinking out loud. And I think we said that in the episode. You actually went, yeah, I'm just thinking out loud, you know. And then for me, it was like, oh, yeah, that's right. You are. You
Yeah.
are always just thinking out loud. You don't act like you know what you're talking about. Even like you are just thinking out loud. You aren't trying to be an expert.
I'm
And
not
that's quite
lecturing.
interesting. And that's quite interesting because when I think about it, if we reframe this into business, but being an expert in business, one of the things I always had a problem with is I am an expert. It is the nouning, isn't it? It's the expert, there's an end, but it's not. You have expertise. But you're not trying to show your expertise. You're just having a conversation, but you look like you know what you're talking about, even though you don't.
But that's the thing, and that's the thing that makes me laugh is when people say, "Oh, you're trying to be an expert, you're trying to sound smarter than you actually are," blah blah blah. I'm like, no, I'm speaking with my understanding. Like I'm using the experiences I have gained, and I'm using the language that I have the experiences I've gained and trying to explain the situations the best way I currently understand them. I'm not lecturing you and saying what's right and wrong. I'm not saying I have more expertise than you. I'm just literally trying to understand your understanding, my understanding, see where we agree, see where we disagree, and then troubleshoot that. That's literally all I'm doing. So when I'm speaking with you, it's the same thing. I'm like, okay, John, what do you think about this? I have my thoughts, and then we're going to match it up, which is obviously how we started the episode that we just recorded. Like, okay, I've had this experience. I want to discuss this, and I'm using you as a medium at which we can discuss this because I recognize that this is an environment that is free. Like, there aren't many environments where you can speak with someone
Yeah.
about, especially something like this, and it not get emotionally heated, as we were discussing in the last one, where you suddenly gets to a shouting match or where expletives come in to explain that. No, because we both accept that we are exploring experiences and using the language that we have and the expertise and understanding that we have to explain those experiences. And then we troubleshoot what we agree or disagree with. And it's fine if we make mistakes because we're just exploring the way that we experience the world, which is learning.
And it's interesting because as I think about what my future thoughts are when creating content, which is reaction, one of the things that I always find difficult when it comes to creating content is when it's a one-sided conversation where it's just me talking. There's nothing to interact with, which I quite enjoy. I like our interactions, the reason why this is still happening for me, because I enjoy the fact that we're having these conversations and there's someone to bounce off of. And I think the reaction content that I'm thinking of making, I'm reacting to myself and you. So it's still react. And I think that's quite a valuable thing. And I'm quite excited for that, as well as the shorter pieces of content to get people started to come in. And I'm thinking about this from a point of like, because this is what I want to do in business, like taking everything I'm doing here and putting it into business. And I'm like, why am I not doing this?
But that's exactly what we were talking about in the episode, though.
Yeah.
Like your goal was to make content.
Yeah.
But you didn't actually make content. Your goal was to plan about making content and organizing how to make content and how to market the content. But it wasn't make content. I could do it on this channel and I could do this and I could do that and I could go over there and do the thing. My goal today is to record a video.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that when you look at all like the burnout videos of YouTubers quitting and stuff, that I think is because their goal is to make high quality videos with views and great, yeah, useful goal for business and money and stuff. But at the end of the day, you got to actually want to make a video, which is why I make videos that I'm interested in, not videos that I think other people.
That I shared with you the other day, which you'd already watched, which I'm not surprised at.
Yeah,
I realize your style of video is kind of because I like Adam Neely just from a person who watches Adam Neely, and I realize that your style in many ways is similar.
Well,
that makes a lot of sense.
It's a conversation.
Yeah, which that's the kind of stuff I want to be doing, is having conversations. And I think a good starting point is going to be having a conversation with myself and you in the past, in that lovely little snapshot.
Here's something that I've experienced and I'm trying to work my way through at the moment is the videos on the Danny Hatcher channel, not the tech one, the Danny Hatcher one. I renamed it because people were getting confused. Is that the long video essay about misinformation on YouTube was information about something. I was talking about misinformation online and sharing experiences I had had. But there wasn't a story or a narrative or a right and wrong or an us versus them or a main character. It was just sharing experiences. And people said it lacked story. And well, yeah, it does lack a traditional story because there's no arc, there's no conclusion, there's no set up conflict resolution. That doesn't exist because it's a conversation, it's sharing experiences. And that's why people struggle to follow the video. People that didn't struggle to follow the video were those that either had expertise in the topic I was talking about, a H-Bomber Guy video, or were interested in the information, which I want those people there. But if you want a bigger audience, they can't already be interested because you're introducing new people to something. And this is a bit of conflict that I'm having at the moment is, okay, if I want a bigger audience, I need a more traditional storyline. Because if I'm just talking about my experiences, people don't care about experiences unless they mean something. There's an action to it. Because there's so much information out there, why should they care? Great point. So I'm like, okay, I can share all the information I want, but if there's no reason for other people to care, they're not going to buy in. Buy in isn't necessarily the nicest way of putting it, but it's what it is. It's, do I want people to buy into what it is that I'm saying and thinking? Yeah.
Yes.
Why would they buy in? Well, there needs to be some sort of story. There's a problem that I'm solving. There's a conflict that I'm resolving. Set up conflict resolution, 3-act structure. Like, unless there is something there, why would they care? Otherwise, it's me just doing what academics do, but online, which is what I'm going to try and do now, which I shared in my newsletter, is the information bit will be in the articles. The story bit will be in the videos.
I like it. Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I like that. It was one of the things that I denied for so long, as I've discussed. I think I've discussed it on the podcast. Is I just hate YouTube. I hate the whole YouTubeification of it. Like I just want to, but I realized that for me that was I wanted information. I didn't want YouTube. But now, as I'm sat and I was listening to what you were saying, and I was like, oh shit, I want people to see this. I was thinking once again, it's that I'm creating content. I need to create content. I want people to care about this. So this means that I can either pretend that all of this doesn't exist and just blah, 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 blah. But if I want people to care, which is what I want, that is my goal, is for people to start caring about eco-psych and like how it applies to business. I'm like, crap, I need to make content that has a story structure.
But, and this is where I'm like, okay, right. So we've got all of these different things that we could do, create content, blah, blah, blah. But we don't need to make a story structure. Because when you look at reaction content, like reaction content, whether you love it or hate it, it has a story structure because they're talking about
Yes,
whatever it is.
that thank you. Yeah, because also when I look at your content, I do see a story. I do see a story. Naturally. It just there is a
what
story
people expect to see as a story. It's not what people expect to see as a story.
No.
But
there is a story.
Yeah, when they say
I wonder whether it's pulling that story to the forefront. So there is a story there. So instead of sitting down, I suppose it is. It is very much instead of sitting down and planning the content, it's creating the story, creating the content, finding the story, and then zhuzhing it to bring the story forward.
Yeah.
Which I suppose is where the thumbnails, the title, the description all comes in.
But when we look at like what I'm thinking is ecologically speaking, the story itself is the specifying information. We have loads of information, specifying information around in all of our arrays, energy arrays, right? Well, that's the information. And we organize that. We organize that into perceiving affordances. Affordances being the points in the video. But the affordances, we don't necessarily take them all, i.e. we don't need to share them all. Some of them are undoable right now, so we don't know enough about them, so we shouldn't share them. And then we enact, we behave, i.e. we share the video, but we want to attune to certain behaviors. So we attune to certain points of the video. And then the behavior, i.e. I do this first, then this, is more effective at getting the goal, i.e. I'm going to reshape what I can put in the video because I want that goal. If you want the goal to be teaching someone about something, then you're going to change the script of the video. You're going to change the order at which you behave to match the goal. So creating content ecologically explained. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it also I love this because I don't think about this as I'm doing it, but now that I'm thinking about it, it makes sense what I'm doing. So obviously I signed up to the Opus Clips thing to get some stuff out there to start bringing more content so that we could draw more people in, because this is what I talk about. And people in business who work with me perceive no time. So sitting and watching a hour plus video is they just won't.
Yeah.
They don't know it matters. But when you have little clips which draw people in, I'm going, oh, interesting. That's actually quite interesting. That would make sense to me. I like that. It's changing my relationship with content of like, I'm now perceiving it from an ecological lens and going, okay, cool. So I don't like this, but it's not for me.
Intended audience.
Who am I? It's the intended audience, which is basically everything.
Your intended audience, I don't think would be everything, because it's the same as me. Do you want to be speaking to people heavily entrenched within information processing?
No. I want people who have been in information processing
Or
and are
are
like,
in?
or
Because
are in information
if
processing.
they've been in it, then they must have come out of
Yeah. Who have been in information processing and are like, yeah, but this is still not working.
It's not even the people that are saying that it's not working though, because it could just be the people that are thinking about it. Even people heavily entrenched in cognitive load theory may see its limitations, but they
Mm,
may not see any other approach. Because if they haven't been exposed to specifying information which allows them to perceive affordances of other opportunities for behavior, i.e., other opportunities to think through things, i.e., the ecological approach, if they haven't attuned to that information, then they haven't been given the opportunity to accept it. So
yeah.
you could be looking at people heavily entrenched in the cognitive approach that haven't been exposed to the ecological approach. But if you're looking for people that are heavily entrenched in the cognitive approach that have been exposed to the ecological approach, well, maybe those people aren't what you're looking for because they've looked at the eco approach and gone no. Why
Mm,
they've gone no would then be a different question. And that
yeah.
may educate that sort of content. So I guess like broadly speaking, yes, we want everyone to look at it. Of course we do. And there's different ways to approach it. But the initial audience, I can't imagine, would be those people that have looked at the eco approach and gone, no, I'm going to stick with the cognitive.
It's the people who are like, okay.
It's the ones closer to the fence to start with, I would imagine.
Yeah.
How do you get them intrigued? And I mean, that's a question that I asked, what, 4 episodes ago?
Yeah.
I feel like we're sort of on a similar wavelengths. So you're taking somewhat control of this channel.
That's terrifying, but yeah. We're doing more with it, like being an active participant instead of what was relatively passive.
Yeah. I mean, you were doing the recordings, but
Yeah. I was doing really well with those. I really do not. Since I took over it, I'm just like, why is this so hard?
because you're in control, I mean, this is essentially your, well, the way I see this channel is I talk to a friend about problems that I want to explore,
Yeah.
experiences, and I want to share those experiences with other people. If they're
Yeah.
interested, they'll listen. If they're not, they won't.
Yeah.
I
That's
think,
this. That's what we're doing here in the
yeah.
podcasty bit. But the channel, for me, I think is shifting.
I was going to say, but I think your relationship with the channel is shifting. My relationship with the channel will remain the same. I want to have interesting conversations with someone that I trust, and I don't I don't care if we have hundreds of thousands of people watching or if we've got one.
Mm,
I don't care. For me, this is beneficial. Where your interest lies, I think, is because you have business, you want to talk about the sort of stuff.
yeah.
I already have 2 other YouTube channels.
Yeah.
So I've already got that sort of stuff elsewhere. You don't.
Mm,
And I think it makes sense for like as long as I'm okay with it, which I am, use me. Like I'm not an expert. I don't have all the answers. I don't have any answers. I have experiences and I have potential solutions and explanations, but I don't have answers.
mm.
So do you want my experiences on the channel? That would be your question. Do you want my explanations on your channel? That would be the question. If the answer is yes, then just use this channel, which obviously is what we're going to do, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it makes sense.
Because there is such a body of work that has just appeared out of nowhere. It's
Well, it hasn't appeared out of nowhere. We've deliberately made it.
we deliberately made it, but that there is so much there that I'm just like, oh, we could try this and oh yeah. And as I'm rewatching stuff, I'm like, oh, that's an idea. That's something that I could create. And then it's almost adding in. the business constraint to a video or the discussion of that from a business thing or from and also I can see it as this channel was very much me learning about the ecological approach for a long time.
Mm. That could be your um hook, because your experience from information processing to ecological psychology is documented videos.
Yeah.
Like, you have full documentation, albeit there's going to be fucking hundreds of hours of it. It'd probably take a long time to go through it all, plus the
Yeah.
off-scene conversations that we've had as well. But you have documentation of your adoption of this approach, which I don't have.
Yeah. That's powerful stuff, that is.
But I don't have it. You can look back at those conversations and say, oh, look at this. I thought this. I'm now thinking like this. The majority of the information that I've shared in YouTube videos is information that I gained, or expertise that I gained through uni, which was prior to me making videos. I was 5 years into the ecological approach before I even made a YouTube channel.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to go back and seeing like the Notion Nerd stuff.
Well, go all the way back to like season 1.
Yeah, and seeing what ecological approaches were there then. Before.
I imagine because I'm more open about talking about ecological psychology now, the words I chose to use back then were to try and avoid conflicts. So I imagine you'll probably hear me talking about cognitive psychology, but I don't know. I'm
That's
really
really
not sure. So it'd be interesting to see how I spoke about things that you were saying through the lens of cognitive psychology, but I don't know how particular I would have been about my wording, because my language now is obviously specific to ecological psychology. But back then, I wasn't that fussed about the words I chose to use, because if I chose to use a word and then you go, oh, what do you mean by that? I don't want to talk about ecological psychology. So I don't want to give the affordance of those questions. So I don't know. I may have said things that I disagreed with, but I said to avoid the questioning and the conflict, because it's not a road I wanted to go.
See, you say you wouldn't have done the journey, like it's not been documented, but I think it was. I just think your journey might have been different. Your
Right, everyone's
journey
journey is going to be different, but
oh
significant.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like the focus of your journey is not like ecological, whereas mine was purely IP to ED. Yours was from not discussing to discuss.
Yeah. Again, this is me talking and thinking through things as we go. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it probably was my communication of the ecological approach was certainly documented.
Yeah.
But I am not going back and watching all of those videos. I'll wait for you to make some short. I'll wait for you to make some short videos and look at it and go, oh yeah, John, I agree.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That's quite cool. That's quite an idea.
Because there's a lot of different content potential there, and I feel like it could be enriching for others viewing it as well.
Yeah, and I'm quite. I think it'd be enriching for me, which is why it's going to matter.
Hmm.
Because not only is it content that I can use in my business too, as I'm discussing it and sharing it on other platforms, on my own personal platforms, because I have a TikTok which could post all of this information, and it'd be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. You post a clip of me saying something really dumb. You get loads of attention for it, and you can just say, "Yeah, this."
Yeah, pretty much. That's the plan, you know?
And then I become the orange idiot.
The orange idiot. I would probably be doing it to myself less than you, but I like that. It's funny. I did not perceive that. I was assuming it was.
Most podcasts I'm in orange, either orange t-shirt. I mean, got orange walls for Christ's sake. Like, people know orange. People know me for orange, or online anyway, know me for orange. So yeah, I'm gonna be the orange idiot, and you're gonna be the guy we're talking about, the orange idiot. They're the affordances people will perceive and attune to. You have glasses, you have a beard. I'm orange and headset.
Yeah.
They're the things people will say. So yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't think. I'm just thinking, like, looking at recordings, and like, I know I'm recording this, but I don't give a shit. I'm like, whatever. Yeah, so with potential episodes then, do you want I'm just thinking, do you want to use the clips as topics for future conversation?
That'd be cool. Yeah, we could use the clips as topics for future
So
conversation.
obviously at
Yeah.
the moment we come in and if I've experienced something, we talk about it. If you've experienced something, we talk about it. There's no planning, as it were, because the goal is make episode.
I wonder whether, yeah, we could do that. Obviously, we could do that.
It's an affordance.
Yeah.
It's whether we enact it.
Hmm. It could be. I don't know because also this thing I like it as it's almost feels slightly like it's its own thing. Well, just
It's a
very meta.
podcast.
Yeah, the podcast is just the podcast. It feels it almost feels like the podcast is a piece of it, but it's not all of it. Do you know what I mean? So we could bring the clips in. And to be fair, if I have experienced something, yes, I would bring it up. So I guess so. But we're already doing that.
Yes, we're
Because
already doing that, but it's like
do we
for the
take it?
planning. No,
Yeah.
we don't have to do anything significant.
Yeah.
Stop over engineering shit, John.
Oh yeah, I like to over engineering. I need to over engineer shit, obviously, because I need to plan stuff first before I do them because I just can't take action.
Oh, shut up. This is one of my frustrations when talking to some of these people. They're like, "Oh, and then I could do this and this and that," and I'm like, "No, just do the thing." Like Nike says, just do it. Yeah. All I'm suggesting is that when you have an experience, instead of just posting it on the video, you can post it beforehand. You can post it beforehand. On Morgan, just put on Morgan like watch this video, so I know that I need to watch a video before I come in.
Yeah.
Because most of the time when we're talking about something, it's something we both experienced. Or like in this episode, I bring up the article. I can't really bring up a video and watch when we're recording.
Yeah. So basically, I send a clip. So yeah.
Well,
Yes.
you can just put it in the event
Yeah. Cool.
because you can put it in the description of the event. So if you're like, hey, I want to talk about this, just
Cool.
put it in. Obviously, because at the moment you're not putting many things in.
Yeah.
Because your experiences, I ask you, you go, oh yeah, there's this thing. So I can't imagine during the week you're going, oh, that's a thing I want to talk about this week on the podcast.
I think I am thinking about that, but also thinking I shouldn't be thinking that, which is hilariously silly. But
Yeah, but I do appreciate that though, because I went through that. I was like, I don't know whether John would be interested in this.
yeah. Yeah, that is my. I was, oh, well, maybe if it comes up in conversation, if it fits with what's happening, then yeah, we can talk about it rather than, oh, this is really interesting. Let's talk about this. So I think that is just I want to be thinking about like talking about these things, and it's just
So maybe then, if whoever puts it in Morgan first will be the general topic, but we can customize the description as many times as we want because we can both
yeah,
edit. So just add note in. So throughout the week, from now till next Saturday, whoever posts the first topic will be the name of the event. Maybe we shift it depending on what other things we've seen. But you could just put bullet points and be like, I have a question about this. I experienced this. I don't know about this. And if nothing
yeah,
goes in, nothing goes in, and then we just do what we're doing at the moment.
yeah. I like it.
Cool. When do you reckon the first videos will be up?
Well, the clips are ready, so the clips were ready probably today. I can probably post a few today.
Yeah,
Schedule them in.
if you put them on unlisted
Yeah,
ping me in Discord, I can watch a couple and say yes or no or
yeah. That's the plan. Yeah.
yeah. Let me do a quick check before you you post something that I disagree with.
The only ones I was posting is the ones you've already pre-agreed because I don't know yet.
Like I
That's
say,
it.
just dump them in the behind the scenes unlisted, then I can watch them and reaffirm that I'm not saying anything dumb. Or if I am saying something dumb, we can put something in a pinned comment. Actually, no, it's a short, so people won't read the pinned comment. We'll adjust it.
Cool.
Because all I'm thinking is I don't want information going out there that's misinformation.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's always going to be misinformation because context is obviously independent of organism environment relationship, blah blah blah, all the other stuff. So it's always misinformation, just to what extent. And I would like to try and reduce the amount of misinformation, like the extent to which it is misinforming, as much as possible.
Yeah.
At the time of publish anyway, because obviously as we move forwards in time, I may look back and go, actually, no, that's completely wrong. But we don't know that right at the time of publication. So as accurate to my understanding as possible, I guess, is what I'm looking for, rather than using misinformation. I think there's a better way to word that. I want the videos to be as accurate to my understanding currently as possible.
So is that all the videos or just the clip ones?
All the videos where I'm saying something.
Cool.
When you're talking, obviously that's just you. But if I'm
Yeah.
saying something, then I'd like to know sort of like,
Even if
what
it's
it is.
one of the questions I have is that, let's say with the React content that's coming.
oh, right, that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm more specifying. Because I will probably speak, because you'll be in
Yeah,
those.
I think that'd be fine, because
Yeah, that's what I wanted to confirm, just in case.
yeah, no, I think that'd be fine, because that's me speaking back then.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But then how's that different from the clips?
Because the clip is much less, so you're not reacting to the clip, because the clip is just the conversation.
That's true.
When you're reacting, you're adding a more current addition to the past, whereas the clip is just the past.
Cool.
I think that's where my worry is there. But yeah, no, the reaction content I think would be fine, because that's just you reacting to past content. And I could probably do something similar. I mean, if you want me to, I can record like a reaction to your reaction, and it would just become a conversation. But or we just talk about it in the podcast, and then you just use those as further conversation for other content.
Yeah.
What are you thinking video length wise?
I don't know. I'll just see what happens at the moment. I'm just creating content. They're probably not going to be long. They're probably going to be maybe max 10 minutes off the top of my head. Maybe 5 minutes. It just depends on what happens. But average length 10 minutes probably would be where I would cut things off.
Yeah, I imagine.
I'm trying to think about, like, because obviously there are multiple hour conversations sometimes. So it's like trying to find the pieces that I want to definitely talk about, and then deciding how to package that. That I still don't know yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't even bother like working out how to package it
Just
to start with.
Yeah.
Because you gotta gain expertise in the
Yeah,
information.
that's the thing. It's like
Gotta just start, just do it.
Yeah.
Which
it's
is
not
why the
easy,
thumbnails.
Danny. It's not. I can't just do it, Danny.
You can just do
I
it.
get overloaded.
Shut up.
I gotta plan it first, because my goal is to create content, but I gotta plan to create the content before I create the content.
I guess technically you would become overloaded, just not cognitively overloaded. Well, because it would be cognitive overload, but cognitive by our mark of the cognitive, with it being embedded and embodied, not just in the brain. So the term cognitive overload would still be accurate in the ecological approach.
Oh, interesting.
Because, but our attunement to the information would be different. Therefore, we are affording those words differently.
Yeah.
Because affordances are meanings within an organism-environment relationship. So cognitive load is still accurate. It's just cognitive load and the meanings behind it. So where it comes from in cognitive load theory is we take different assumptions.
Yeah, because it's the extended embodied. It's not cognitive load here. It's cognitive load here.
Yeah, it's within the energy arrays.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
That's where meanings are in people, not words.
Yeah, because that changes it completely when you're thinking. It goes back cognitive load.
Because cognitive load as a word isn't. Yeah. Cognitive load as a term isn't cognitive load theory. Cognitive load theory is everything else associated with the word, cognitive load, the term.
Yeah, but everyone's interpretation of cognitive load is different. People.
But that's where I think cognitive load theory is overhyped.
Yeah.
Because cognitive load has been around forever. Like we've always said, oh, you're burnt out, you're overloaded, blah blah blah. Like, even going all the way back to like the ancient Greeks, oh, you don't have enough energy to finish that race. That's still cognitive overload.
It's just energy management.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is cool, isn't it? It does make it complicated though.
Does it what?
It does make it complicated though. I think cognitive load is accurate, but I don't think cognitive load theory is accurate.
Yeah.
Can they mean drastically?
Really, cognitive load is just energy.
Well, yeah, but that's what we were saying in the episode.
But which is simple. Is that complicated?
Did you just come to that? Like you were just like it clicked for you?
No. But is that not simple? Cognitive load is just energy. That feels simple, but then again, I have expertise, so perhaps that yeah.
for you, you have expertise in which you can attune to the specifying information, which other people don't have the expertise in yet. So when we say cognitive load is energy, they go, what? Which is what happened in the Discord. They go, what? No, we don't perceive energy, we perceive affordances. Yeah, but affordances, specifying information in affordances includes energy.
Yes. Okay, yes, I've just ticked that one.
Because we're perceiving action capabilities, and within action capabilities there's our energy. Like if we're at the end of a race or end of a marathon, action capabilities will be different because we don't have as much energy. I can look at a race and say, oh, could run 100 meters. There is the affordance to run 100 meters, but my ability to perform that behavior drastically impaired by my lack of energy because I've just run a marathon.
Yeah.
Because we perceive affordances we cannot perform.
Yeah. That's really cool.
It looks like you're thinking.
I'm thinking about a lot, multiple things. Some I can't say because they're client related, but like it was just I'm seeing, I'm perceiving this from a client perspective.
You're
and also
attuning.
from my own. Yeah, yeah, thank you. Attuning to that from a client perspective, from like family with their struggles of like my own personal struggles is like I don't have enough energy to do these things, and I'm frustrated that I don't have the energy because I want to have these energies and I need to get these things done, and just like I don't have the energy, I'm not able to do that, and the relationship between it being wrong to not have the energy to do that, and it's bad of that. It's that interesting relationship of like, is it bad? It's like that is what it is at that precise moment. And could I keep it's that idea of like, can you keep going? Well, yes, but it'll be inefficient. And do I want to work inefficiently? It goes back to the goal thing of like, do I want to work inefficiently or do I want to work efficiently? That's the choice. And it's like, oh, interesting.
Efficiency of behavior.
Yeah.
I mean, that is productivity. Productivity is being efficient with the behavior. Right. I think it's lunchtime now.
Yeah,
I was about to end the call, but I should probably end the record.